and then it'll be vegan. And so, yeah, so she cooked it, and then I had vegan dinner, and everyone was like, oh, that's, how can you like that? But like, I wasn't really thinking about that, I was just trying it. Hi, I'm Chloe, and I'm 16 years old, and I wanted to make a video today about how I am vegan at 16 years old and live with my parents and all of that stuff. So, first of all, I know that my first video I posted was me playing guitar and singing, and that's because I kind of want this channel to be a part of everything that I like, that I'm interested in. So everything like singing and veganism and feminism and sociology and just yoga, fitness, reading, all the things, more than that, minimalism, that I want to talk about. So yeah, so I'm gonna start with talking about how I'm vegan at 16. So today is January 20th, 2019, and I live in little old Ohio, and I am just about 16, a little over 16 and a half now, and so I'm 15 days away from being vegan for 1 year. So I also wanted to like talk about my experience from being vegan that at least that long. I know it's not that long, but I have a little more experience than when I first started. So I went vegan when I was 15 and a half, just over 15 and a half, and I was never vegetarian or anything like that. I live in a little suburb, and I grew up with my family, always just like regular Ohio foods, burgers, American diet, nothing really. My mom was always a little more like trying to get us to eat healthier with vegetables and stuff, but nothing like, I never knew anyone who was vegetarian, even, except for my best friend who, through elementary school, she has been vegetarian since then, but I never thought anything of it. It never, I don't know, I remember actually making fun of her for being vegetarian and not really understanding anything, so I'd never questioned it ever my whole 15 years of my life. So how I started to hear about it was through YouTube. And I used to, well, when I first started watching YouTube, it was all makeup, and then I started getting into like fitness, and I was like super into fitness for a really long time, but a lot of like bodybuilders and stuff. So the first bodybuilder YouTuber that I watched, not the first, but one of my favorites, was Grace Fit UK, and I still really like her, even though like I don't have a lot of the same like interests as her anymore. But she went vegan, I think, the summer of 2017, so like June or July, and she was posting about it. She went vegan like when she was in Bali, and then she stayed vegan, and she was like just saying all the things about it. She wasn't talking a lot about it, but it kind of got me interested in it, and she just like explained like a lot of her her reasons for it and like how she felt and everything. I also should say, well, never mind. But yeah, so I was sort of getting interested in that, and I started kind of talking about it like, oh, that looks kind of cool, but like never thought that I could do it now. So then I started watching other YouTubers like mainly Raw Alignment, or Alyse, and I still kind of watch her now. She's really cool, and she was like a really good example, I don't know, not an example, but a good like basis for me to see kind of like what, like, she showed veganism very positively, and like everything about her was very positive. So she's also a lot about like positive mindset and like all of her like spiritual, not very spiritual, but I guess you'd say spiritual. But so she kind of opened me up to like the whole thing. Like she was like mostly raw when I first started watching her, and she lives in Hawaii, so everything like natural and whole foods and stuff. So that was a really good thing. So I kept watching her, and I can't really think of anyone else. It was mostly just her, and I was like watching her like all the time. Every single time she'd upload, and I watched like all her old videos. I also really loved how like she doesn't shave and everything, and she's all like hippie, and she makes videos about that. Well, she does now, which I don't want to get into that, but she was really cool. So then from watching her videos, I started thinking a lot more about it, and I would always like, I wrote it down, and I was like telling my family and my friends like, I want to go vegan in college. Like when I go to college and I like have my own like money and my own like time and space, I'm gonna go vegan and do it then. So I just kept saying that for like months. So like all the way from June or July was when I first heard about it, and then like for probably till like November or December was when I started talking about it and saying stuff like that. And then I think it was like, it must have been January, I was like really into it and like kind of trying it out. I wrote like as one of my resolutions, I wanted to try more vegan stuff, or try to go vegan, or I don't know what I really said, but so I was eating, it was kind of like vegan till 6 or whatever it is, like daytime vegan. So I was eating breakfast and lunch vegan because that was like the easiest thing, and that was what I always made myself, and then like I would eat the dinner that my parents made. But I was eating like breakfast and lunch vegan, and that was mostly just like oatmeal for breakfast and like peanut butter and jelly for lunch, I don't remember. But so I was really liking that, but I didn't really like know a lot about it. So then I started watching like videos and like a bunch of information, not really a lot of like documentary stuff, mostly just like people's videos on like tips on veganism and stuff. And so yeah, so I was doing this during the day, and it was all mostly the whole month of January. And then I honestly didn't like feel that different. I didn't actually like change all the way, so I guess it didn't really do anything for me yet. But my parents definitely didn't think anything of it, and they were just like, whatever, like she's just trying it out, like, yeah. So then I did that for a month, and then one day I had been vegan that day during the day, and then for dinner we were having enchiladas, which is like the best thing ever. I love Mexican food. So we just have like burritos. That's what enchiladas are. Burritos with sauce on top and cheese. So I was like, hey mom, like, can you just make mine with beans instead of meat, and then it'll be vegetarian? And she was like, yeah. So I had beans, and then I was like, you know what, just don't put the cheese on it, and then it'll be vegan. And so yeah, so she cooked it, and then I had vegan dinner, and everyone's like, oh, how can you like that? But like I wasn't really thinking about that. I was just trying it. So, and it was good, like it was fine. So I had that, and then that night I watched Vegan 2017, like the film. I can link it in the description. It wasn't anything like, it was good, but it wasn't anything like groundbreaking or like really like amazing. It was basically just a basic like why people are vegan and like what it's doing to our earth and like to animals mostly. And so I was like learning about all the industries really, and it wasn't even like intense footage or whatever, but I liked it. So I was like, oh my gosh. And there was also a lady that said, I don't know if I would say this myself, but she said, you can't be a feminism and not be vegan because of the industry of the dairy industry and how they forcefully rape the cows and to keep them impregnated and everything, and steal their milk and steal their babies from the women. So that's unequal treatment, or harassment of women or females or whatever. I don't know, the intrusiveness of the female reproduction of cows, and I guess eggs too. But that's a whole nother story about all the industries and everything. So yeah, so that night I watched that documentary, and it's on YouTube, and I went vegan. Like the next day I was like, I'm just gonna do it. And I don't remember like I don't remember what I ate or what I did at the beginning, but like I was just like, I'm just gonna do it, and like basically ate really boring stuff, a lot of beans, and like I remember I loved sweet potatoes with peanut butter on them. Like that was my meal a lot of the time. I really liked peanut butter and toast and like whatever. Mexican was like huge. It still is huge, but yeah, a lot of beans and tortillas and Mexican seasonings. But yeah, so it was great, and I was 15. It was February 5th. I went completely vegan, and it was like really amazing, but I still didn't know a lot. So really, like for the beginning, I didn't know like how to talk to people about it, and so yeah, this is my experience so far being vegan, like in high school and in the house with my parents and my sister. So my younger sister, who is 13, who's actually vegan now too. But so when I first didn't know like how to talk to people about it, I was like telling my friends, but like I honestly don't remember a lot. I don't know. I definitely would say ew like every time I was around Pete or whatever. And I was very thinking about it and talking about it a lot. But I had this lunch, I had a lunch table at school, and it was like most of my really good friends, my like best friends since we've been little, and like our other girlfriends, and there was one guy there, but he actually was like the one who didn't judge me or like say anything about it mostly. So I was like packing whatever I would pack, like vegetables and hummus and broccoli. I ate broccoli a lot, and like granola bars and stuff, and like really basic stuff. So I'd be eating like broccoli, and my friends would be like, plants feel pain, plants feel pain too, and like, you're drinking water, you're stealing from the fish. And like I would just be like, no I'm not, and I would like try to argue it, but like didn't know what to say yet, and like I didn't have experience like arguing my point, and so I just was like, and they like wouldn't stop. Like every day they would say something else, and I would just be like, okay, stop. Like it was stressing me out, because I mean like I wasn't just sitting there and like letting them say it, because they would probably stop if I just like ignored it. Like it was really hard for me, and I just didn't know what to do. And yeah, so it got to the point where I was like having a lot of trouble with that, and everyone just kept saying like they'll get over it, like after a while, like it won't be a big deal after a while, which is true. It went away, especially like my lunch table, even though like it didn't completely go away. Like there's a lot of kids in high school that say stupid stuff to me. This light is right on my face. But so yeah, then still my parents really thought like it's not a big deal. Like I wasn't talking a lot about it. Well, I don't know what I'm saying. They still thought like I'm not gonna go through with it. My mom maybe, like she didn't say much, but my dad was always like, yeah, sure, like he was like, there's gonna be a time when you're not gonna be vegan. And I was like, no, there's not, Dad. Like you don't understand how much I know about this. And my dad is still really hard to like, both of my parents, it's just hard for them to understand. They're not vegan still, which is another story, but they thought that I would get over it. Obviously it's been a year now and I haven't been over it, and I don't think I ever will. I know I won't. I'll always be vegan. But so this is another story too, but all of those problems talking to people, I actually lost one of my best friends because of it, because we're both very like opinionated and like to argue our opinions so much. And I'll save this for a different video, this story, but because we're friends now, and so everything's cool, and I don't want to talk bad about her, but that was really hard. It was like I'd only been vegan for like a month, and I lost her, and she still doesn't really get it, but I just don't talk about it anymore around her, and it's really hard, and it hurts a lot, but it's okay now. But yeah, so I lost her, and we hadn't been friends until just recently, a few months ago. And then, I don't know, I kept getting more into it. We went to California for spring break, and that was amazing, even though, like, my parents didn't know, like, didn't want to go eat vegan foods. We didn't go to any vegan restaurants except one ice cream place. We went to LA and San Diego. Okay, this is getting really long. So yeah, how I do it in my house, how I eat vegan now. My sister went vegan in July because I showed her the What the Health, which I love. That's like my favorite documentary showing. I haven't seen a lot, but it's my favorite to show people because that really moved me, even though I was already vegan, but I watched it like a few months into being vegan. So yeah, so now she's vegan, so it's half of my family, so it's a little easier now. And I'm really lucky to have the parents that I do because they don't, like, they will listen to what I have to say. It won't change their minds, but they just deal with it. They're like, that's fine, whatever. So they, both of them really like to cook. Mostly my dad likes to cook a lot. And so when he's cooking, he, like, willingly will make something, like, we'll have stuff that can be made vegan, like chili. So he'll make, like, non-vegan chili and then vegan chili for me and my sister, and I love his chili. And then, I don't know, most of our family meals we are able to be converted. But, and, like, I have a job now, so I buy a lot of the food, and, actually not a lot of the food. I buy, like, extra stuff if I want, like, ice cream or whatever, but it's really not that much. It's not more expensive, for sure, because, like, we haven't seen any, like, increase in our spending or anything. So, yeah. I don't know, I guess that's my story, and I don't know what else to say, but I think I want to do a different video about all the things living in a house with my parents and being vegan. But, yeah, so I'm 16 years old, and that's why I wanted to make this video, because I feel like anyone can do it. Anyone, like, mostly anyone. Like, I understand that there's trouble in some communities to have access, but really the most that you can do, it's really easy to do it. If you can't get complete access, it's really easy still. Like, it's easy to do as much as you can if you really know a lot about it, and you really understand, if you really have an open mind and think about the problems in our world because of meat eating and animal product industries. So yeah, I also want to do a different video on the bad things about animal products, especially the environment, which I'm really passionate about. But yeah, so that's my story. It's not very interesting, I know, but it's very basic, but thought it was special because I'm 16 and everyone's special who goes vegan. That's not what I mean, but, like, it's special, like, hearing people not giving up, but choosing to not consume animal products anymore, and it's amazing for our earth and for our health and everything else. So I hope you liked it. I want to make more videos. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. I think I want to do some vlogs and, like, what I eat in a day and stuff, even though it's not very interesting either. But thank you for watching. Bye!